Yes, sir, brother. I used to come over there, so cause on the sea from over there, so come straight shot the wharf, that you know. Yeah, but the ferry come down there, so and come up there, so yes, back in the day, me I tell you. So the look of something else where it used to come from. But, brother, son of ball out as well. Hot like a fire there. Yeah, I manage it. There. Eh? Nah. What the Giddy House thing there? How we get around it? Yeah. Eh? Right there. Oh, NCB. The bank and the police are mad. Yeah, boy, can't with the bank. You have to go run through the police station first. Fishing supplies. That's it. Ah, so over there. Alright, boy, I tell you, say, oh, that's so historical sites, them there. Go on and look. It's a whole park around there, so. And I can go back through there, so I go to the car. Eh? Yes, uncle. Manners. Yeah, she that it's here walk over there. So. Mm. Work in progress. So this was the Royal Naval Hospital. So them say work in progress. I'm not saying the work advance. This is a man sit down. Geology. Wow, my yes. Oh, so sinking at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the time when the earthquake shake up the place.
So the horse. That's suffocating. Sick bed, yeah. Sick it.
Sea was across on this side.
Because the first is built on an island.
Okay.
So that is why you see all the holes, guns pointing east, west, north, and south.
Yeah.
Because the sea was across here.
So you know these fake ones?
Yeah, man.
Was the year when the actual, like, you know, the fight and the war was
Alright,
going
so
on?
real guns were there.
Oh, real guns, so they've been
Yes,
replaced.
real guns were there, but guess what? This area never had any fight.
Okay.
No challenges.
Okay.
Alright? Before the forts were built, there was a fight. And after the British conquered the Spaniards, then they built the forts. Alright? So there's not when they run them already. Run them away already.
Okay.
Alright, so they had guns for defense in case they were attacked and person were coming in to attack them by sea, because another area sea was around, right?
Right,
So you don't see any sea now.
No.
What happened to it? It disappeared, right? But it's gone further. But I'll tell you more.
Why the sea
I'll
is.
show you where, I will show you where the sea is and so on.
Okay. 100 years old.
Yes, more than 200. So,
yeah.
this is locally known as the guango tree, right?
The guango tree.
Yes, so this is also known as the rain tree.
The rain
It is
tree.
also called the rain tree. It is called the rain tree because it's shaped like an umbrella.
It is,
It's
yeah.
called the rain tree because when it gets windy, it sounds like the rain is falling. It is
Okay.
called 4 o'clock because by you get to 4 p.m. the leaves start to close up. And so by the time it closes up, it's gone to sleep because it is also called a 6 o'clock tree.
So
by
the
time it
actual
gets to
tree
6 o'clock,
sleeps, yeah.
yeah, so by the time it gets to 6 o'clock, it's gone to sleep. So it
Okay.
is also called a 6 o'clock tree. It bears pods that is used to feed animals, cows, goats, pigs, and so on, right? See a pod behind it right there in the ground.
Yeah.
Alright? So, you know what a magazine room is?
Yeah.
One that should have had gunpowder,
You reloading.
cannonballs,
Yeah.
muskets, that's a tall guns, right? They are on your ticket to a soldier hand have one of those guns. Alright, so that magazine room across there behind them was built in 1807. And the one that got destroyed was built with the fort. Alright? So you see how dark it is from there?
Yeah.
So we're going to go into that magazine room. Alright, so we'll just stand for
So it was built in 1807.
that one there.
Yeah.
From outside.
From outside.
Alright?
So this is an actual cannon room.
Alright, so yes,
magazine room,
yes,
sorry,
alright?
yeah.
So this is how they would have stopped the gunpowders across here. Alright, in the case. These are replicas though because the fort is more than 200 years old.
Yeah, so.
Alright, so this is also right?
Yeah.
Alright, so the square boxes would have had a cannonball.
These would have had them
Cannonballs.
inside.
Yes, and the tall ones would have
Okay.
had the muskets, the tall guns. Like these would have had the tall guns that you see on the tickets. Alright, so guess what? This magazine room is made from red bricks, limestone, sand, and molasses. When this was being built, there was no cement. No.
Did they said molasses?
Yes. You notice that the molasses building them still strong and strong. The ones that you see in your countries and so on. Yes. Most of them were made from red brick limestone.
I didn't know that.
Molasses.
I thought it was just sand and like
No, molasses and sugar.
actual molasses where you
Yes.
drink, where you
Yes,
can.
yeah, because remember the molasses when it is dried, it is very thick and yes. Alright. So it is built in this shape, like a dome-like shape, right? So it is built like if it was struck, it wouldn't crumble to the ground in pieces. So it is built to withstand that beating.
Yeah,
right?
a bomb, yeah, or
Yes,
something like
yes,
that, yeah.
alright, yes, alright, knockings and clappings. Alright, so the British, came, saw, and they colonized and also conquered,
And
right?
conquer.
Yes. Alright, so these
So
those are gun racks.
So all is this room?
Alright, so it's the magazine room is built from 1807. You can
1807.
calculate?
Right.
Alright, so those racks you see behind me, they are gun racks.
Yeah, these are
See
gun
them
racks.
I'm pointing at there, gun racks. So they have found some weapons. They are in safekeeping at the Coast Guard.
Okay.
Right, so there's a cruise ship just up the road, and before COVID, the ships were coming like 3 times for the week, and so they don't have the guns on display. All right, so COVID came. Right, so everything is underwater and it is restricted.
Okay.
Right,
So repeat that. So there was 55.
All right, so Port Royal
Yeah.
was on 51 acres of land.
Yeah. And when
on the day of the earthquake, 33 acres sunk, right?
Wow.
So it's we don't say it is still across there, but underwater, and it's a restricted area. All right.
So is that the bit where the ship?
All right, so I'll point. All right, so we have to go up top there. So
Yeah, we can
eventually,
show you.
so I'll show you across there. So all of that debris came down to form the palisades naturally. All right. So what do you think push you see away? All that debris that came down washed down into Port Royal.
So that pushes and made
Yeah, the force of that.
and made a road.
Yes, it made a road and also farmland. That is why you see land around here, because it push away the sea. And so it left land there, yes, farmland. So it was because of the tsunami.
Wow.
All right. So the sea is pushed back way behind us. All right.
Okay.
So, all right. So Jamaica has the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. But I'm going to tell you how Kingston came into existence. So to simplify it, I just do a seesaw. Like. So 33 acres is this. Kingston is this. And so when one was going down, one was pushed up. Right. So remember, Port Royal was water surrounding it, all right? And so it's called a tectonic split and shifting of the plates, right? So it caused one to be pushed up.
So would that include Kingston?
Yeah, that's right. That's the Kingston that was pushed up. So the survivors saw the new land and they went to settle and to rebuild. What existed? Ligani Plains. Because there was no Kingston. So it was Ligani Plains were there, right? Yes. And Spanish Town and all that. Alright, so
It's quite mad how you say it happened though, innit? It just sound like I don't even know the right word, innit? Like a miracle thing.
right. Like it's like it was called the wickedest and the richest city once.
Yeah, but
right?
you hear that, yeah.
And so the amount of wickedness where that go and something that for happen.
Okay.
Yeah, like something have to really happen. Alright, so yes, so at the city there were approximately, because we went ahead of the tour by telling you how Kingston was formed and Palisades. Alright, so at the city there were approximately 6,500 persons on the day. So rounded figures now, on the day of the earthquake, 2,000 persons died immediately, 3,000 persons died in a couple of weeks from diseases, starvation, and injuries.
So that's over 5,000 people died from the 6,000 odd.
Alright, so there were pubs, there were gambling houses, there were brothels, there was a synagogue. And to tell you, this Jamaica is so interesting that there were 6 Jews came here this month, some women. And they, just as how they came off the plane, they came here with their suitcases and everything. They said they're doing research to find, to find their ancestry, because Jews were at the city. And so they want to know where are the graves of some persons that died and so on. So they are doing the research. So they said graves were at Hunts Bay.
Hunts Bay?
Yes. Hunts Bay on Spanish Town Road.
The police station itself.
Police station somewhere there. So we don't know if the police station is built on the grave site or it is still located there.
There's a big cemetery in front of the
We know
police
Maypen, but we want to know maybe the Jews are buried across there. Who knows?
So but did they say there was a synagogue at some point in
At the city. At the city, but it gone down.
That went down,
Sunk,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jews
That
were.
part song.
Yes.
So was that the only holy place that was on the site? Was there any churches?
Yeah, man, I'm going to tell you. We stopped because we stopped at the Jews, yes.
Okay.
There was a parish church, and so the church one was called Louis Galdi. So Louis Galdi was swallowed in the earthquake and spat out and rescued. He lived for 47 years. So before he died, he built a church. You passed on the left coming down called St. Peter's.
What do you mean him
Anglican
get spat out? I don't understand.
Spit out. We know because of spat and the past tense of spit.
Yeah, no, I understand,
Yeah.
but
So
me
he
mean
swallow
like-
him up and let him go.
So he went under the ground
Yeah,
and then
him
come back
whatever.
out.
Yes, and let him go.
Yeah.
Jonah.
Port Royal have a mad history.
So he lived for 47 years.
So
and he
like
built
a
church-
movie.
He built a church up the road that he passed.
As there in the movie,
Well, you know, they filmed a movie over here last week before last. 2 weeks now they were filming the movie. And you know, I forgot the name. because I could tell you and you can and until it come out, but
So
I
is-
forgot the name.
So is that to do with the actual life of
Well,
foot?
I don't know really, but they had some of the red coat soldiers and slaves and all kind of people.
Oh,
so I don't.
okay.
I wasn't. paying- I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
do
full
my work,
attention.
so I
Yeah,
couldn't pay full
I
attention.
understand.
All right, so yeah, so he lived for 47 years, and then he was buried at Green Bay. That's St. Catherine. close to
Yeah. Green
Elshaw.
Bay is over there
Yes.
on the
Well,
hillside.
Queen
innit?
Elizabeth II came in 1953, and she went and visited his gravesite. She did not like where he was buried, and so she had his remains removed and placed in his churchyard. So up he's resting there forever. All right, so yes, yes, and so we said he was buried 3 times, right?
Because
Yes.
him buried by the earthquake.
Yes.
Then him get buried at Green Bay. And now him get laid at the church, yeah.
All right. So alongside him is buried 3 bones of unidentified children, 3 collective of bones, right? Collection of bones are buried there for 3 unidentified children. All right. So the graves are marked unknown in the churchyard.
And those were his kids.
Huh? No man, they found them at the city.
Oh, yeah, they're
Hugged
not-
together, huddled, yes.
yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I'm gonna tell you now about these keys. So Sandy Key is now called Maiden Key. Maiden Key is where the yachts goes to. Also the party boat called the Loose Cannon. So beside the yachts there we're talking about richness, people.
Yeah.
Alright, then we have Lime Key.
Yeah.
And Lime Key is the most popular. Alright, so everybody goes to Lime Key, but what is there? White sand and trees. It's just a camaraderie, the excitement when people buck up and everybody bring them things for cook and the music and thing. Alright? Yes. Then we have Rackham Key. We have Gun Key behind us, no gun not there, right? And then we have Rackham Key named after a pirate called Calico Jack,
Did they have one
Jack
called
Sparrow.
Did they got one called Pleasure Keys?
Yes, but not close by, offshore there, where the soldiers will go to and so on. Alright, a fishermen live there.
Yeah, I know.
Alright,
yeah,
yes. So Rackham Key is named after Calico Jack or Jack Sparrow in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. His real name was John Rackham's, right? So the key's named Rackham Key because he and his crew was caught in the grill in 1720, November 1720, taken to Spanish Town and tried. They were found guilty and brought here to be hung in the courtyard here, and all those men were hung. So they took his body here to the entrance, just at the entrance of Port Royal, and they placed him like this there, and they left his body to rot. So it was to send a message to the others that
They
would be
never get a
coming
burial,
in.
basically,
No,
right?
no. All right. So, all right. So most forts are built on a star, and this one is built on a star, but it's also built like a battleship. So right at the corner across there is a point of a star, and one right there in that corner at the steps. One is across there, right there, and see the other one right there.
Okay.
Other behind there, when we get in that direction, if I remember, I point them out. So, but uniquely now, it is built like a battleship because right there is a stern at the step. There you have the upper deck and the lower deck and the bow around the other side. That's the front of the ship. It is built like a battleship. It was a trick. Those at sea would have seen it and thought it was real. And if they had come closer, they would have been surprised. It's not a ship but a fort, but they never came.
By the time they realize them get sinking.
Yeah, but they didn't come. Alright, so at the top of the steps is that structure you see there. It's a toilet. 3 holes adjoin each other. Servants would have placed pails in the holes, and when they were filled with the feces, they would be taken out, placed on the ground for the night soil men. Those men, I guess they work at night because they're named night soil men, so they go there at night, take the feces away to make fertilizer. So nothing was wasted, so the urine was also stored, gathered by servants and placed in the wash area on the courtyard. I point that out too, and it will be in the sun until it become crystallized, and ammonia that is. And so it was used to wash the uniform of the soldiers because they were white. So nothing was wasted, alright? So that's bleaching,
With all
agent.
them feces chewing out no bacteria and everything.
Well, a lot of diseases and all those things, eh? Alright? Yes.
Was these
Alright, so
these
alright.
was them something
Alright,
you showing us, so?
So those were the boxes that were inside.
Yeah, sure, it's inside,
Well, I
yeah.
said yes, like the cannonballs.
The
would be stored in
cannonballs,
them. So we
yeah.
have real cannonballs around, you know. I will tell you about it. So you want to go and have a look
Yeah,
at
man,
the
yeah.
toilet? You want to go and look at the toilet?
This one
on
up
top
here,
of
yeah.
yourself? Watch your heads.
Go and go look, come on. Yeah, come, yeah. No, it's a replica. So where's the original one?
Oh, that's a big gun, long time.
Oh. Yeah. Alright. So, yeah. So these were the toilets. These was free toilets. Basically, like you said, it's a replica. Innit? Yeah, well, the shortest man lick up him head. Blood clot. How you think? How you do that? Yeah. Yeah. Outside Talk TV. We're up on the ground. Port Royal. Is it? This one is called Fort Charles Necessary House. Whatever that means. See my whole heap of mango tree over there, sir. Is it? Come in, Charlie. Commander Carter.
Yes.
So what?
But that one is lingering always behind. But anyway.
Yeah, you're alright, man. Don't worry about it.
Alright, so.
Yeah.
This is a. Yeah, but you might tape.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is a post commander's quarters.
Yeah.
Post commander would have his own dwelling, living luxuriously because back then the commanders would be outside on the tents, on the vessels, and so on. And he have his own bed, he have him in possession here, yeah? Alright, so the commanders, you know, they have what was issued to them, like the uniforms, the masks, the bed linens, the brooms, the uniforms, the weapons, the rations, the food. Alright, so, yes, because of his privilege, the commander's privilege, you know, he could not have him stuff. Alright, so shoes were made in mass production. There were no left, there was no right, they were just shoes. These are replicas. These were made in Britain and
So there was no left foot and no right foot. There was just shoes.
Yeah, but not this size. Not this size, because the replicas are just made.
Yeah, I know, I understand. Yeah.
They were much smaller.
But they could wear on any feet, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, so skulls you see here, they are not real. Just props. Skulls were for bragging rights and
So you know those clothes behind you?
So the commander have won a sash, you know, and his chaps. The ones that go over the shoes to make it look like a boot, and the vest and so on. The water canteen.
So can I say something to you? You know, so feel heavy, you know. Yeah.
Okay, we can't be used to it.
Yeah.
I know me by now. They know me by name.
Yeah, they know me by name, I know. I just walk in this room and it just feel a bit heavy blood, like.
So hear me now. So, the wardrobe, it's from the 17th to the 18th century. It's an authentic British wardrobe, right? Alright, so the portrait is of Horatio Nelson. Heard of him?
No, never heard of
Horatio
him.
Nelson was the youngest admiral. He started at the age of 12. He came here to visit. He came here at the age of 14. He spent 4 years, so he left at the age of 18. Well, he did battles outside. If you read about Horatio Nelson, you see all the battles, and he won most of them.
And who is that lady?
Well, that is quite interesting. I tried to find out who she is, but it's kind of hard, right? Because most women were dressed like that.
Back then,
Their hair short like that.
Yeah.
Alright, and so when you Google, you might find real one, but if the one that you might find don't have nothing to do with Port Royal. So, so I just leave it alone. Alright, so, well, guess what now? The bed is low. Why do you think the bed is low? Look at the entrance. Look at Look at the entrance to the toilet. It is low too.
Yeah, it was,
Because persons were
short. Okay.
But then everybody, it's not just 1 and 2 and 3, and they never take it from their parents. It was because, lack of, good food, protein, those nutrients and stuff that person would have needed. Well, in America now we say them don't grow, right? Yes, and some person say they have scurvies and so on, right?
So,
scurvy, anyways. Well, the commander wouldn't have wanted to go to the toilet because of who he was or who he is at that time. Because he wouldn't want to mingle. Common people using the toilet, he's not gonna go there, so he'll have a chamber pot and a jar for himself. Those are not the real stuff, those are just for display, right?
Okay.
Alright, so they might be old, but not that the exact thing that he had.
Yes.
Alright, so what they use for toilet paper? They never had any. They never had no toilet paper.
Or they use cloth.
But they use their left hand. And that is why universally we don't shake with our left hand. We shake with our right. Because the left hand is gone.
Okay.
Wow.
So the Muslims and the Africans, the Hindus and the Asians.
They don't shake with their left hand.
And they don't touch their food with their left hand and pass money and stuff because some of them still do use their left hand to clean themselves.
Up to this day.
Right.
Good.
The Muslims
Glad
will
to
have
know that,
well, the Muslims have bidet in their countries, in their airports and so on. So you know what a bidet is? Where the places, the tush there, it wash the mess away and they will wipe it out towel. They don't use toilet
So
paper.
basically they got to sit on something with the water that
Yeah,
wipe,
right.
flush up their ass.
Yes, alright. Alright, and so, and yes, that is it. And even if you're left-handed, you should never outstretch your left hand to be shaken. That's an insult.
Okay.
Alright?
Gotcha.
Yes. And if you go to Africa, you should never place your left hand on your table either. When you have the food. Alright? So we're going to the next. So this is the quartermaster. And the quartermaster was where the officer slept that did the logistics. Alright? So they slept on bunk beds and these are replicas.
Yeah.
So free and enslaved Africans, they were used to bolster the British Army in the 17th to the 18th century. So they were called the West India Regiment. See a replica of their flag there. Alright?
So this is a replica of...
The West India Regiment flag.
Okay.
Alright, so you know the JDF
West
came from
India
the regiment, right?
Okay. I didn't know
Jamaica
that.
Defense Force came
yeah.
from the regiment.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jamaica Defense Force has kept a part of the regiment which is called the Regiment 1.
Is
That
that...
plays on special occasions like on Heroes Day and so on.
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
Call them... Does the
they
JDF...
still wear these uniforms.
Oh. Do they actually have an office over there now?
Yeah, the Coast Guard.
Oh, is that the Coast Guard?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was the actual
No,
JDF.
the Coast Guard.
Okay.
Alright, so is it part of the JDF, you know, because they goes there too.
Yeah.
Alright, so so this is about, it's about enslavement of blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How they place them on ships in this order. And then again, they cramp them so close together. Yeah. So, they were inhumanly treated. So the ones at the top would have defecated or peed on the ones at the bottom. Yes. Some have also jumped ship who could. Some were thrown overboard. Alright?
Wow.
And they advertise them.
And I'm advertising them.
Yeah. Yes.
To be sold.
Skills and so.
To be sold on Thursday, the third day. Wow. So, and these was the actual people them who run the fort was doing these things to...
No. Well, the forts here had soldiers.
Yeah, I know, but was that not white soldiers?
British soldiers, yeah? White
Yeah,
soldiers.
that's what I'm saying it.
But slaves were at the city, not here. And not here at that time. You mean slave trading and so on were going on at the fort?
Okay. So Port Royal was mainly a port for...
Trading, a place for trading.
Yeah, but for the rich and
for wealth and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, but the slavery the slave trade and that
Transatlantic slave trading.
go on elsewhere.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they mostly brought slaves here to work.
Yeah.
So they never ship slave from here to elsewhere? No.
Yeah, that mad innit? So what's your thought on that?
Well, what's my thought? Well, we can't really do anything. We
Well.
can't talk about anything about the park. We really can't do anything about it.
We know that. Look.
But you know, if here we could try to change the past, but we still can't. So
We
guess
still
what we have
can't,
to do?
yeah. Because we still,
We have to work.
Yeah,
We
it's-
have to work with it, because you know, modern day slavery.
yeah.
Yes. Alright?
It's still under the control
Yes,
of.
you know already.
Yeah,
right?
makes sense.
And we
Yeah.
can't fight them.
No, we don't have enough power.
No.
Yeah.
About slavery, innit?
Yes. Alright, so are you kind of going fast? No. Right? They lost a lot of land. Lands are still being depleted because St. Thomas kind of lose some land. Also, you know, in St. Catherine, Elsha, and so on, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, some persons say the sea can be taken back.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, so this is Port Royal right here, that era sank, right? And Kingston have come up in that spot, right? Yeah. Alright, so back then there were precincts and not parishes. Right?
Okay.
Yes, and you
So
know,
there wasn't parishes.
you know
there
there
was-
were 22 parishes before you get to 14.
No,
did
I
you?
first may hear that.
Alright, yes. So, you know, some of the names have changed them. So St. George's here. But you know you have St. George's in the plain in Portland, right?
Okay. I never know that.
Alright. St. Mary's is now St. Mary, and St. Anne's they took off the S from that and so on, right?
Okay.
So
So tell us a couple of the ones that not on the regular 14 parish
Alright,
that
so
we don't know
I think
about.
Manchester is not here. And this one.
Yeah, but Manchester is Mandeville, innit?
Well, in Mandeville, but I mean it wasn't here present on this present map here.
Okay.
So how old is this map though?
Alright, in the 18th century, I believe, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Alright, so the map could have been drawn in it, but I don't know. Because this map is saying about the 16th before the earthquake, right? Because the Port Royal on it.
Yeah.
After the earthquake, it could be on it because Port Royal sank.
Port Royal Sank.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, so the map that we have now, you will not see Port Royal is not there. You see in Kingston.
Yeah, true.
Alright, so. Alright, so if you go on Google and you Google the maps of Jamaica, you'll see about 8 maps come up.
8 different maps.
8 different maps, and they'll be dated. So you can help yourself on that. Alright, yes, alright.
Makes sense, innit?
And
So-
so there were Mount Calico Jack
This
School.
one died in the jail.
Yes, and they were a Mount Calico Jack School.
So what was the name?
Alright, so let me kind of refresh now. Alright, so women were not allowed on ships back then. They had was to disguise themselves. So there are Mount Calico Jack School just as men, disguised as men. So when the crew was caught, they revealed themselves now because they didn't want to be hung with the men. So you know, they claimed to be pregnant because they knew the law of Britain that says not to hang pregnant women and children. So they were taken here and placed in jail. It's now the male restroom that was a famous jail where the women were placed in. So this one died from a fever 5 months after she was in jail, and this one escaped. So Mary Reed and Anne Bonny.
So Mary Reed and Anne Bonny.
Yes.
So Anne Bonny are bad people.
Right, you see?
Yeah.
Most of them still know, but you know, yes. So they said she had wealth and so on, right? Yes. Alright, so Calico Jack. Henry Morgan. So Henry Morgan was a buccaneer, that's a Caribbean pirate.
Yeah.
But you know, he had to conform to the British orders. And so he was the one that had to get rid of who they didn't want. Right? Like the Spaniards and also the pirates and so on, right?
Okay.
So he confiscated the wealth and he shared it with the monarchy, the British, and so they rose to rise because of wealth, you know, that they gained from thievery. Alright, so they knighted him first Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica because of his gains for them. Alright, so you could have said them was grateful to him. Alright, so that's corruption, you know, because he was a thief. I was a pirate.
Yeah.
Alright, so that is why it's still happening today where you have pirates sitting in high places.
Yeah.
Alright? So pirates have their own identity. And so if you see that one coming on a ship, that flag, you know it was a wealthiest, like Samuel Bellamy. Alright, he was the wealthiest, the Jolly Rogers. Alright, I'm just going to show the most notorious Blackbeard flag, right? Yes. Edward Teach. So here's a train line that was around the back. So this
Of
is
Port
when
Royal.
it got damaged. Yes, look at it. So it's at see the Giddy House there.
Okay.
And so here's a train line. So this is when it got damaged. I'll tell you why it was built, what it was used for, right? Same. Alright, so we're going this way, we're gonna go. So it was very short, small in stature. 2 to the top and 2 to the bottom, and they caught diseases, yellow fever, right?
Yeah.
And so many of them died.
Wow.
So there's the arch that you see on the left going out, it is dedicated to them. These beds, these tables are called forms. Alright, and if you're old as I, you have an idea that's this is how the tables were made in primary school before. Them have them nice table and chairs. Alright, and so those bottles will be representing rum and water, which is called grog. Grog was first drunk here, yes, by the British, and I'll tell you more when we get to the back.
Okay.
Alright, so on the right we go. That's the courtyard. This court have a lot of stories, you know.
Sure.
The first magazine room was built right there. It was a round building right at the steps there. The wash area was across there. See the manual covers right there. Where you see the barrels and stuff. So across there, these guns are real cannons.
These are actually real cannons.
Yes, real ones. The ones on the inside intruders. If they come close to the fort, others would go out further. And those are the emblems, are the crest of the monarchy. So when we get to the top, you can look down. The holes would have had ace and gunpowder and also Russians. Well, this is a famous jail where the women were placed in. And here, right here is a plaque about the women.
Those are the ones that you showed us there before,
yes.
Mary and
Yeah, Mary Reid and Barney.
and Barney, the bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are gonna go up top and go around at the back where the Giddy House is located.
Yeah.
Them towards woman then. Just a bathroom.
Do a foot of the rain now come until we cut. Me hear some rain fall at Port Royal every day.
Alright, so the sea was pushed back. The sea was close by. And the sea was pushed back way across the trees. Alright, so that's how far the sea was pushed back from close by the fort here. Alright, so the guns on the ground, real ones on the deck, right? And those black ones are replicas.
Okay.
Alright, so come along here.
So the real ones are these ones on the deck here, yeah?
Yeah, the ones are flat.
Yeah.
Those are plastic and fiberglass. Alright, so come this way.
Yeah.
So look across there, you see that dark building, a round one.
Yeah.
It's an old naval hospital built in 1880.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I walk around
from
there.
prefabricated metals imported from Britain, so it is made to withstand disaster.
Wow.
It is made on stilt.
Still standing.
Yes, and it is built by skilled slaves. All right.
Slave.
Yes.
They're saying it was working in progress over there, but
All
not
right.
now over there.
Well, a little bits and pieces, and they have security. So a restricted area also.
Oh, yeah, I
like
see.
the city. All right, so the fort is built like a battleship. So the stern is at the toilet, and the bow is right across there.
Yeah.
Also the point of a star. See right under there, the point is right under there.
Yeah.
And so when we get down, I'll show you next point. So come this way. So the area where you park, it is called a chocolate hole. If you park across there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll tell you more about it. So see the buoy across there? So that marks the spot, the location for the sunken city. It's the restricted area. The Coast Guard is across there as you know, security and protection. Alright? So we're going to go down. And work to the bottom.
Charlie, sure.
So you might want to just stop the Giddy House.
Oh, is that the yes? There's a Giddy House. Okay. There's a Giddy House over there. Giddy. Sing, blood. Port Royal have a lot of history. Can you imagine? These beams are here from Belize.
Yes.
Mm.
They were here since 1950. They are here since 1952.
1952.
So come across here when you're done.
What year did Port Royal sink, you say?
So they're here from 1952 and Port Royal sunk in 1692.
1692.
Yes.
Oh, so
Alright,
that.
so this is ground zero, where the maps are drawn from the cardinal points. So if you have a compass and you turn to St. Andrew Hills, you get 0 point. And if you turn facing the map here, you get this on your compass. Alright, so the Flagstaff was destroyed in the hurricane of 1951 and replaced by a boat in 1952. Greenwich Mean Time was taken from here to the UK, and so we are 6 hours behind them. Alright? So the cardinal points is anyway, the maps are developed from here. Alright? Yes, that's how I can explain.
Yeah.
Right, this way to the Giddy House. And so they had to move closer to the shoreline. And that is why those two structures up ahead.
Which is the Giddy
was
House.
built, and the round hole, the battery. Alright, so on the left is the Victoria battery. It was high above sea level. It had a periscope where they could look out to see if anything was coming. Nothing came to challenge the British in the 18th century. Alright, so it was high above sea level, so when the train line ran behind, it could run beneath and goes out of Fort Rocky.
So my question to you is this, yeah? If here used to be underwater, sea, yeah?
And the tsunami caused it to be pushed, the land to build up.
Yeah, so where was that house located?
So where?
Yeah.
You're not listening.
I am.
I said,
Yeah.
soldiers were sent here in the 18th century.
Yeah.
When they came, the sea was gone. So they couldn't fire from here. So they had to go closer to the shoreline. So they built those two structures in the 18th century. So they were built in 1888.
Okay, and
100 years.
after the actual.
Alright.
So how come the house sink?
Because you can't wait. So, remember now, the train line ran behind it,
Yeah.
and beneath the hole,
Okay.
and went out to Fort Rocky. Fort Rocky is a 6th fort, and it was built in 1888. So
Okay.
it was built along with those two structures there. Alright, all three were built in 1888. The train line was built in 1888. But, alright, so now, look to the left, you see a rusted mechanism.
Yeah, that over there?
Yes. It was built in 1883. It's on this gun and brought here. Alright, so they were brought here, and so they were placed in the battery. Alright? So this gun weighs 22 tons, and that's 44,000 pounds. But the gun was built in Arsenal, Woolwich, in Britain.
Yeah, Woolwich.
Yes, it was called the Royal Gun Foundry. It is now the Royal Gun Factory.
Okay.
So the rotator can turn at a 180 degrees only. Not 360 because the British didn't want the gun to point at them if they had to run and leave it. If they were overtaken.
Which was from behind.
Right. So this gun weighs 22 tons.
Wow.
And that's 44,000 pounds. It
Wow.
could fire 6 miles out to sea. It is built in the Moncrief hydro-pneumatic design. So the gun used steam. The missile was called a shell. The gun could fire 6 miles out to sea. It was operated by 5 soldiers. Right? So it uses steam. So
Steam.
it's a bridge-loaded gun.
Okay.
So when the steam was added to the gun and the black back was closed, now the pressure builds, and so it will send the missile.
Okay.
Like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
So send the missile 6 miles out to sea.
Okay.
Right? So if you want proof, it's a number 14 gun, 9.2 inches. Breech loaded, it's around the other side of this.
Number 14.
So if it's a number 14 gun and there are other batteries, it meant that all the other guns might have been taken back or lost. But this is the only one that is here, the number 14, so there must have been others, alright?
Yeah.
So the water in Port Royal was not fit for consumption. The soldiers were given rum to add to the water. Rum and water is called grog. So the seawater could not be desalinated, right? And the water that they had was slimy. So they gave the soldiers the rum to die so that they could digest the water they had. But they had other options. They had other means. They wanted to. They saved the rum for drinking.
Okay.
All right, and they were punished by an admiral. And so the admiral gave orders not to give them the rum anymore, but the rum should be added to the water and then given to the soldiers. They created cocktail. Cocktail is when you add alcohol to liquid. So
Yeah.
no matter what liquid, you put in water.
So now they start drinking the water instead, yeah?
Right. Right. When you go into the Royal Artillery store, you're going to feel like those soldiers because you're going to walk the sobriety line. So walk this way, please, sir, in khaki. So, you asked me how the house was lean.
Yeah.
Second major earthquake came in 1907.
Oh,
And
1907.
hit the house at a 16-degree angle. Because it was to store non-explosive items, spare parts will be constant cleaning supplies. Alright?
Okay.
Walk this way. Walk this way. Alright.
This
That's
is
what is a bright line. It's an invisible line. So you're going to make one. Walk straight to the pointer. Turn around to come back. Straight ahead.
Giddy House. So them I say you're drunk. You're drunk if you walk in the line. But don't turn around to come back. Am I supposed to get giddy now? Eh? Yeah, you do it. Yeah! But just get
You want it again?
But just get it, Charlie. Yeah, I just felt it
Some
then.
person feel it right here, some person
Yeah, that's mad that the Giddy House, blood. So check it. Yeah, walk straight line. Says a sobriety test line. Turn around, walk back in a straight line, and then when you get to the top, keep watching the camera if me I go shake,
person's balance is much better than
Yeah.
like his balance is more better than yours. Yes, he feel it less.
The Giddy House. Is that where the Giddy House come from?
So because
Okay.
it is lean.
Because it's lean. But you also
When you
get giddy.
walk, the liquid in your head, you know,
Yeah.
trying to shift. And so that's give you the giddiness.
Okay. So it's not a ghost inside make you feel giddy.
Well, you know that I saw many persons.
Yeah.
And just one father and two daughters came. And that man run and grabbed them and disappeared.
Yeah.
Yes, there's something in there.
Yeah.
Something is inside.
I think there's something inside. It says gravity.
Because it is lean.
Yeah.
And the liquid in your head
Yeah.
is going to lean also.
Okay.
So it take you know, shift. Everything shifted in here.
So this is our last point of sale now we are sure it.
Alright, so, yeah, last point now. Alright, so the British built a tunnel leading from inside the hole to the right. 4 underground bunkers. See the bunkers across there?
Yeah.
3 batteries. Alright? So, that's called the Albert Parapet, and the parapet seems like somewhere where they would have duck and fire from, right? Alright, so, see one air vent there, one went down right there. Alright, so they could make their escape, also in their possession. Alright, so nobody came to challenge them though. Alright, so we're going up to the battery.
So all this effort was just for nothing.
It was, you have to prepare, you know, remember you have to prepare, don't you? Because in that they do it and then something had happened.
Yeah, but it's quite
Something had happened and then
but it's quite funny innit how them come and build
yes.
um
But the policeman built his house upon the sand anyway. Because you see that is all sand.
yeah.
So it's dead strong in You know them military thing there.
Yeah, they are.
Dominance, yeah.
And they are good, well engineered. Yeah? So, this one is a replica of the original. And so inside the battery, alright, so the gun that was here is the one outside.
Black one.
Alright. And so this was high above sea level. So they could crank the gun and turn it at a 180 degree. Alright, so it was already pointed, it was already high at that time.
Yeah, in the
So
yeah.
they didn't have to do any raising of the gun, right? Alright, so the rings at the back had chains attached to them to hold the gun firmly. So that the gun couldn't recoil, but the gun couldn't recoil, and when it recoiled, it was hid under here. Behind the other part, you're dropping that phone. Now you lose it before you leave here. Alright, so here.
Yeah.
So right here.
Underground.
Yes, but this was higher.
Yeah, okay.
So low at that time. But so the gun would come back. When it came back, it come back with smoke. So they had to fight the emergency down to outside to prevent the soldiers from stifling.
Okay, okay.
Alright?
Rise up the cannon.
So a little bit of nice, but come for that, the guy there, ironing.
Yeah. Right. So is that how the actual first one was on it wasn't on hydraulics? Okay.
Can't keep that there, actually.
Okay. Ready. I say now fire a shot. Yeah. Yeah. No. Right time anyway, we done.
Alright, so I want my water was washed here. Because these are something that runs underground.
So there's the sea. So the sea is actually under where we are now.
Yes,
Okay. So this can sink anytime.
water storage beneath.
Hey.
Because it's outside, it will come up.
Yeah.
The park for weeks, months, or days.
Alright.
It will come up into the courtyard also when it's day.